Hello out there in YouTube land.
Welcome back.
Today we decided we would do a specific Mardi Gras episode.
Because Mardi Gras is fun. And, Fat Tuesday is very soon.
And we all need, another holiday where we can just have good things to eat and enjoy makeup and different things. We decided to do our own, kind of interpretations of different things you can do for Mardi Gras. I ended up with kind of a sort of Japanese thing with a little bit of Joker. Tabby's is more traditional goth, but I like the green on her lips. It looks really cool.
A little bit of a purple base on the lipstick, and then just a little bit of the alien palette.
Gotta have Jeffree
sparkly.
Star.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the whole face right now.
Yeah. I mean,
the purples, the gold, the green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about our love for Jeffree Star a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, there's the makeup part. But we wanted to talk about mostly different traditions and things we enjoy about Mardi Gras, and how you can kind of goth it up a bit.
You can goth it up. You can still have color to that. The traditional colors, again, the golds, the greens, the purples. You can do plenty with that and be, gothed up. And Mardi Gras is about having fun. It's about a freedom,
And it's just a celebration. So celebrate everything that you want to celebrate. It's a giant party. I mean, it's known for the big thing down in New Orleans where there's so many people drunk and everything. But traditionally, it's just supposed to be the kind of letting loose of everything before you go through Lent if you're Catholic.
Right.
Which, of course, none of us are Catholic. No. So we just kind of enjoy Mardi Gras. And we both have spent some time down in Louisiana.
Spent some time in Louisiana. New Orleans specifically is just a fun place to go all around. Mardi Gras for us is kind of fun in the way that we cook.
Yeah.
Sometimes there have been years I've made pralines. There have been years I've done beignets.
I can make king cake.
Yep. And speaking of king cake, we got a cute little idea for it. So king cake, as you know, has kind of this traditional setting in Mardi Gras, and particularly the Zulu king cake.
Which I only found out about Zulu king cake because when I lived down there, I got to try it. There's in Baton Rouge, there's a famous bakery called Ambrosia, and they make a Zulu king cake. Which, if you know anything about the crews in New Orleans, crews are essentially community groups that do a lot of community outreach. They do fundraisers. They do all types of things that help the community. So the Zulu crew in specific is traditionally known as an African American crew. Right. And because of that, the Zulu king cake is chocolate and coconut. And it is literally to die for. It's amazing. I mean, if you love chocolate and coconut, you have to try Zulu king cake.
You have to. And it's kind of an interesting little thing, with king cake, because they put a little plastic figurine in it. Usually it's a plastic baby.
And whoever finds the baby is supposed to have a good luck.
Right. So we thought, hey, why not use a little plastic bat?
Yeah, it'd be so fun. I mean, just think
cute,
about it. Just
fun.
A little tiny bat guy, and whoever finds the bat, I don't know, could get a little surprise gift if you throw a Mardi Gras party. It'd just be a totally really cute little fun thing you can do that's a little different. Also, on top of king cakes, they traditionally have icing, and they put colored sugar with the green, gold, and purple. But instead of that, you could goth that up and do red and black.
Oh yeah.
It'd be so much fun and so easy to do.
Or you could even do, your black kind of sparkly, glittery sprinkle, and then a red, almost blood icing to come down over it.
So there's lots of things you can do with king cake to make it goth out.
And if you're thinking about, Mardi Gras party, kind of how to goth it up, think about kind of the architecture that you see in New Orleans, kind of the wrought iron, the beautiful gothic wrought iron. Think about
the old mansions, the plantations.
Yep.
Bring
out your inner vampire.
Yes, because New Orleans is, all about vampires.
They actually have a vampire tour.
They do.
I've been on it. It's kind of fun.
And if you've not gone through any of the cemetery tours, I highly recommend those too.
Yes.
Another thing we thought that would be kind of fun for a Mardi Gras thing that would be goth style would be to make voodoo dolls. And, you know, traditionally in the voodoo religion, they're used as a way to, like, either help or harm your enemy. So what you would traditionally do is take a cloth doll and stuff it with, like, either clothing of the person you want to affect or pieces of their hair or whatever it is.
Yep.
And you just kind of sew the fabric around it in the shape of a doll. And, like, if you would want to help the person, then you would do things for the little doll, like, you know, put coins in front of them so they'd have money come to them. Or, give, like, little food things. And just things to create abundance. The thing you always hear about in movies is the dark side, where, you know, you attack the dog with knives and you put the pins in and all that stuff. But you can do the positive thing, too. So it'd be kind of cute. You could make, like, a little voodoo doll of your friend and, like, try and make the hair similar. You could do that with, like, yarn and stuff.
Yeah.
And paint a little face on it and then, you know, like, give the little doll, like, some coins or jewelry or whatever. It'd just be a really cute little extra, like, little gothy thing to do for Mardi Gras.
You can even use it as your place setting.
Yeah, you could.
So.
That'd be really cute. You could, like, little, like, have them all, like, wear little shirts and, like, paint the person's name on them and stuff. That'd be really cute.
So, since we have both, you know, had experiences in New Orleans, we've been there. Dani actually used to live in Louisiana a while ago.
I did. I lived in Baton Rouge, which, if you don't know anything about Baton Rouge, it's roughly an hour from New Orleans. So I lived down there for 6 months in the year 2000, which was actually where I saw type of negative for the first time. Haha. But the whole area has so many, like, spirits and hauntings and things. And I actually lived in a haunted apartment.
Which was interesting. Of course, she lives in a haunted apartment.
Yes, you know, you wouldn't expect anything less, right? So, well, the things about this apartment that were strange. Okay, so New Orleans and Louisiana in general are warm. So even in January, you're talking like 70 degrees.
Right.
Our apartment had the front door, which, like, was in front of, like, a staircase, but it was an external staircase. So you'd go up and we were on the second floor. So the staircase, you know, and the front door, like, pretty much you were at the staircase, and then, like, our door was right here. So, you know, there wasn't anything to do. We just go there, and it was outdoors and whatever. Our back door was out to, like, a back communal balcony.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you just go out the back door and you could, like, put out chairs and stuff. We never did because it was just really kind of bleak and just concrete and everything. It wasn't really pretty to look at. But the weird part about it was the door to the back balcony was always ice cold. In 90-some degree weather, that door was ice cold.
And it wasn't near any, you know, air conditioners or anything like that.
It was literally at the end of our hallway, and it was, like, really boxed out. So technically it should have been one of the warmest places in the apartment because there was no ventilation. Mm-hmm. It was just, like, a boxy area right next to the opening for our little galley-style kitchen.
Which was, I mean, it's really strange for that to be really, you know, just cold and uncomfortable.
And we didn't really think too much about it. It was just like, okay, this is really weird. This door's always cold. But my roommate and I decided that we were going to get some goldfish because we thought it'd be fun to have some pets of some sort, and goldfish are relatively easy to care for. And we decided instead of, like, only getting the yellow goldfish, we were going to get some black moors, which are, you know, a similar thing to a goldfish, but they have, like, you know, poppy eyes and pretty little tails and everything. So if I remember right, we had gotten 4 fish. We had gotten 2 gold ones and 2 black ones. The first night, the first black one died, which we didn't really think anything of it. It's hard to transfer goldfish over to a new environment. And we had all the water treatment stuff. We had, you know, we were really careful. I'd kept Oranda goldfish years before, so I knew how to take care of the fish. And we had, you know, made sure and used filtered water and not, like, water out of the tap. You know, the whole 9 yards. We treated it with the chlorine stuff. You know, had everything to go. And so the first one died. We didn't think anything of it. We didn't even make a big deal about it because it's hard when you transfer the fish. Well, 2 nights later, one of the yellow ones died. And we're like, well, this is kind of strange. And, so we're like, alrighty then. What the hell's up with this? But, maybe they weren't really healthy or whatever. Even though they looked perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with them. They were active. So, then, probably, I'd say a week later, the next gold one dies. And we're like, this is strange. And we're changing the water out every 3 days like you're supposed to in a little bowl. You can't, we didn't have a filtration system on it, so, you can't let them go very long without changing the water, but we always made sure, did the exact same things before. Used filtered water, used the treatment stuff, the whole 9 yards, made sure everything was measured 100%, everything. And we even made sure, that the water was room temperature before we put the fish in. We did everything we possibly could to make sure there wasn't anything going to happen to the fish. Well, then we're down to one single black fish.
The last man standing.
Yes, which we called Midian. Which, if you don't know, Midian is the name of the city in both Clive Barker's book Cabal and in Nightbreed. And Midian was really cool. He used to dance to music. Like, literally, like, if we would put on, like, Type O Negative or just whatever music we were looking to, he would swim a certain way, almost as if he was dancing. He was a really cute fish. And we had him for a couple weeks, and we thought, well, maybe, we're good to go. He's awesome. He seems really healthy. He's happy. And, we changed his water like you're supposed to. Everything was going fine. And then he died. And we're like, what the hell? Because, this wasn't a large fish. It was a small little... I'm talking like, maybe the size of my thumb. It wasn't a huge fish or anything. It certainly didn't die of old age. So we're like, what the hell is this? So then, the next night, my roommate has this nightmare about a ghost that she swore looked like how Bloody Mary should look. Like, you've heard the old folk tale, like saying Bloody Mary in front of a mirror or whatever. But she had this dream. And I'm like, what? So, we decide, okay, maybe fish aren't for us. And my roommate, Julia, got a gerbil. We're like, okay, totally different animal. Maybe it's just the water down here isn't conducive to fish, whatever. But a gerbil should be fine. They're relatively easy to care for. You don't need, like, special heat lamps or anything. And it's warm anyway, so it's not like they're going to get, like, too cold or anything. And we made sure and kept the gerbil away from the heating system and, everything so you wouldn't get, like, too much cold air. Because gerbils and little cute furry things tend to develop pneumonia really easily.
Because they have a high metabolism. They lose body heat quite easily.
So, this gerbil is doing fine. And then he starts acting funny. We're like, what the hell? And then we start noticing that he's acting funny only at certain times. Specifically, only certain times of night.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. So, and at the time, I was working for a computer company, and my hours were different than my roommate's hours. And she would have to get up and go to work at like 5 a.m.
Right.
Because she worked for a construction company that was also, did like engineering and that type of thing. And so she had to be at work really early, so she would get up early, check on the gerbil's food, make sure he had plenty of water, good to go, and then she'd head off to work. And then I would get up a couple hours later because my shift was like from 9 to 5 or whatever. And, I'd get ready, go to work, come back home. And because her hours were really weird. Like, she would go there really early, and then they'd have like this like long lunch time, and then she'd not get home till like 6 or 7. It was like really a weird...
Those are odd.
Yeah.
Those are rough hours.
Yeah, it was not fun for her at all. And I worked like a normal like 9 to 5, so like I would get home before her. And so like the gerbil Tommy was fine. Joey would get home, we'd like decide if we were going to go out to eat or we'd make dinner or whatever the heck we were going to do. And it got to the point where every single night about 10 o'clock, Tommy would start making these weird noises. Which, Gerbils
really don't make a lot of noise. I've had gerbils. They don't, unless they're in distress of some sort.
Yeah, and he wasn't like making, it wasn't like a sick noise, it was like a scared noise.
Like a chirping.
Yeah. And so, every time you do that, we'd look around, we'd try to smell in case, there's some sort of, like, something to do with, like, God forbid, the air conditioning or something, like it was releasing some sort of fume or something. But we could never find anything. And we even changed where we put him in the apartment because we had a 2-story apartment. It was almost like a little mini townhouse.
Mm-hmm.
We even tried putting him upstairs with my iguana, who was fine. And he still
did that.
Yeah. Well, finally, my roommate keeps having these nightmares, and she starts seeing and swearing to me she's seeing this ghost in her hall, not hall, but her closet, on her closet doors in her bedroom. And this was back in like the 90s and stuff, when it was really common to have closet doors totally mirrored.
Right.
So, and my bedroom didn't have the mirrors on them. So, it got so bad that we ended up covering the mirrors on her closets with butcher paper.
Oof.
She couldn't sleep. Every time she'd walk in there, she'd swear she saw this being, whatever it was. And I looked in there and I saw a shadow in the mirror. In a place where there wasn't a place for there to be a shadow. I'm like, this is really, really messed up. That's when we could cover it up with the mirrors. Mm-hmm. And at that moment forward, Julia would literally sleep on the floor of my bedroom because she didn't want to sleep in her own bedroom.
I can't say if I had an image of that nightly, I would be a little worried.
Yeah, and, she's like, am I going insane? And I was starting to think she might have been until I saw the shadow in the mirror myself, and I'm like, okay, we're in Louisiana. There's a lot of weird shit down here. So, then I'm like, alright, how are we going to deal with this? We'll deal with this like I have always dealt with ghosts and stuff in the past, and my studying of, like, anything remotely occult or whatever. So, one of the common things you do, and it's not called an exorcism, but it essentially is an exorcism, is you call on the towers and the spirits to help you expel any bad energy out of a dwelling.
Right, and this is the same as, when you see a lot of these ghost shows.
Yes.
On TV today, they're talking about the sage cleansing and things like that.
So we burned sage, and we, called on spirits and everything, and, had basically went through every single nook and cranny of that house with the sage bundle burning, and, like, kept repeating, like, whatever, I don't remember exactly what we, like, came up with the words to say, but to cleanse the apartment of any evil whatever. And after that, the gerbil never made another noise. He was happy as a clam. He lived, because I ended up having to leave Louisiana because the company I'd been working for was bought up by another company. So I ended up coming back to West Virginia. My roommate stayed down there like 2 further months, and then she got laid off at work, and then she ended up coming back to West Virginia, and she took the gerbil with her. Mm-hmm. That gerbil lived for another 3 years, which is pretty long life for a gerbil.
That's pretty good life for a gerbil.
So that was my weird, creepy apartment story from Louisiana.
So what do you guys like to do for Mardi Gras? If you celebrate Mardi Gras at all, if you have stories like Dani's, or
even just fun stories, we'd love to hear about them.
Exactly.
And just please remember to like, subscribe, and share us with your friends, because we'd love to have more of you tuning in every week.
Exactly.
So until next time.